Hello YouTube and people of the interwebs. Now, let me cast your mind back to this. Multiple system failure. The TARDIS blowing up. And the woman who fell to Earth. Today I'm going to be discussing a very big complex theory, which is probably not true, but a lot of you out there have asked me to discuss, because I've briefly mentioned it in many other videos. Today I'm going to be discussing, does Jodie Whittaker's era take place in a parallel universe? So, parallel universes in Doctor Who, predominantly mentioned and seen in the Russell T Davies era, specifically Series 2. Now, in Attack of the Cybermen and the Age of Steel, that big Cyberman two-parter, the setting is parallel Earth, parallel London, where they've got blimps in the sky, etc, etc. It's our world, but slightly different. Now, how did the TARDIS crew get there? If you remember, at the very start of the episode, they just happened to fall through a little crack or hole in the time vortex, as explained here.
We fell out of the vortex, through the void into nothingness.
So by chance, they ended up in a parallel universe with pretty much no hope of getting back. The TARDIS shut down because its systems could not recognise the parallel Earth. Now, could that be the reason that after Capaldi's regeneration, the TARDIS had that message of multiple system failure? What if, by chance, or not by chance, the TARDIS was flung into another parallel world? Now, also in Age of Steel, David Tennant, well, the 10th Doctor, says this.
When the Time Lords kept their eye on everything, you could pop between realities, home and time for tea. And they died, took it all with them.
Due to the events of Day of the Doctor, we know that the Time Lords are back.
Gallifrey, stand!
They survived the Time War. They lived in the bubble pocket universe thing.
Gallifrey falls no more.
So, it's not all too improbable to suggest that somehow these gates and barriers to parallel universes are somewhat worn down or somewhat regulated by the Time Lords once again. Also, if we remember, let's just take for granted at the moment that everything we've seen in the Whittaker era is a parallel universe. That parallel Gallifrey was destroyed by the Master.
Look upon my work, Doctor, and despair.
Remember how we used to run through those streets as children?
So what if, in the final desperate days of that parallel Gallifrey went, who do we call? We need to send for the Doctor. And they sent this message. It picked up the wrong universe's Doctor because they were in a hurry or because of time streams or wibbly wobbly whatever. It picked up the wrong Doctor, so it picked up our universe's Doctor and brought her through into that universe, but Jodie's Doctor is unaware that she's actually in a parallel universe as of yet. Alternatively, if the TARDIS knew that this parallel Gallifrey was in peril and about to die, and it knew that the Doctor could save it, the TARDIS could have actually just gone there, brought her there, because it's established in the episode The Doctor's Wife that the TARDIS brings the Doctor where he/she needs to go, not where they want to go.
You didn't always take me where I wanted to go.
No, but I always took you where you needed to go.
Because this could ultimately be part of Chibnall's 5-year plan, as I've mentioned in prior videos, which you can check out on the channel. Chibnall has a 5-year plan. He's supposedly planned out everything he's going to do with the Doctor Who franchise until the 60th anniversary. Maybe the 60th anniversary will be the big revelation of they've been in a parallel universe the whole time, and Jodie's Doctor gets to return back to our universe. Now, those bits of evidence I've mentioned here, and speculation and fan theory, etc., aren't the only thing to suggest we're living in a parallel universe. Well, we're following the Doctor and her Team Gang fam from a parallel universe. There are many other little details which I'm going to explore right now. So, first things first, the Ruth Doctor, the Timeless Child, that really big controversial point which was a big bold move by Chibnall and some say contradicts many of the things that have happened before. What if it doesn't? What if there is a parallel Doctor for that parallel universe, and this parallel Doctor is the Timeless Child of their universe? Our Doctor isn't the Timeless Child. Jodie is not the Timeless Child, but the Ruth Doctor is the Timeless Child because she is a Doctor from a parallel universe. She is still the Doctor, which is why Jodie and Ruth registered as the same person.
Same brain.
But Ruth is a parallel version of Jodie's Doctor. This would also explain why Jodie can't remember Ruth and Ruth can't remember Jodie. Neither of them know the other exists because they're parallel Doctors. It also explains the gaping plot hole of why Sacha Dhawan's master is insane and evil, because if I cast your mind back to the end of series 10, the best series of Doctor Who.
It's time to stand with the Doctor.
No.
Then we see that John Sim's master kills Missy indefinitely.
Don't bother trying to regenerate.
She's dead. She dies. And yes, you can argue the master always finds a way to survive. Fair enough. But not only does she die, she's also good. She chose to stand with the Doctor. She chose to do the right thing. She was no longer psychotic and evil. Yet, as soon as we see Sacha Dhawan's master again, he's evil.
I have had a lot of fun.
He's insane. So what if, as with the Ruth Doctor, that master is a parallel universe master? Same sort of life, same sort of memories, but he's from a parallel universe. Maybe he could be the John Sim version of that universe. Maybe Ruth could be the 13th Doctor of that universe. There's so many possibilities and little parallels. Another thing which everyone sort of complained at, yes, the episode is fairly terrible, but Orphan 55 could be another subtle hint, because at the end of that it was revealed with the Planet of the Apes twist.
Oh my God, I was wrong. It was Earth all along.
It was Earth all along. But what if it was parallel Earth? Because we've actually seen the fate of our universe's Earth in episodes like The End of the World.
This is the day the sun expands. Welcome to the end of the world.
Yeah, we have seen the fate of our Earth in the future. We know what happens. So what if this is the parallel Earth, and on that parallel Earth we all turn into dregs? No continuity spoiled, no anything ruined. That's just what happened in their universe, because every parallel universe, as described by Tennant, is the same but slightly different. So, casting your mind back to the Series 12 finale, The Timeless Children, the latest, most controversial episode of Doctor Who, the Master traps the Doctor in the Matrix. He puts her mind in there, he keeps her in a holding cell, he does all of this, and the way she breaks out is by overloading it with the power of her mind, with her thoughts, with her memories. What if this worked, and it's not a cop-out, it's not just, oh, well, yeah. What if it worked because this is a parallel Doctor, and this Gallifreyan Matrix has no knowledge of this parallel Doctor. This parallel Doctor goes in there and screws it up with her head with all these parallel memories, parallel existence. It confuses the Matrix, so it blows it, and she can get out. Yes, that is quite fan theory-y, but it could work, and it could explain how she managed to get out of the Matrix so easily, and why she could just blow it up with her mind. One minor issue you might run into is the Captain Jack of that universe a parallel Captain Jack, or is he Captain Jack from our universe? Now, I think it's a 50-50 if this theory is true. He could, A, be a parallel Captain Jack who doesn't know the Doctor's a woman yet, but then if Ruth's the Doctor in that universe, he probably should do, unless he hasn't met her yet. I don't know, that's where it could go all a bit confusing. Or alternatively, the idea and route I'd like to take, and route I prefer of thinking, is that Captain Jack is the Captain Jack from our universe who followed the Doctor through that hole, and he's trying to warn her of, you're in a parallel universe, you need to get out, which is why he was trying to scoop her up and find her. He knows loads of events that are going to happen in the parallel universe because maybe he's been trapped in there a long time. There's so many different things he could do. He tries to warn her about the lone Cyberman in Fugitive of the Jadoon, but what if he wanted to tell her that she was in a parallel universe and needed to get out? Obviously, he can't say this message to Ryan, Graham and Yaz and pass it through them to the Doctor because it might not get there. It might confuse Ryan, Graham and Yaz. They might not believe him. They may not even want Jodie to return back to the parallel universe. So many different possibilities. Speaking of Captain Jack as well, this would also explain why in the series 11 and 12, Torchwood and Unit don't actually have funding. They're not there. And why the Earth isn't prepared for aliens. Because if we watch Spyfall, C, Stephen Fry's character, says that they aren't prepared for an alien invasion.
MI6 has never countenanced the possibility of extraterrestrial life.
Well, you should talk to your mates at GCHQ.
Now, you'd think if they were from the universe we followed previously, they would be prepared because they do have organisations like Torchwood and Unit, and they know how valuable these things are because they've been invaded hundreds and hundreds of times, like practically every Christmas. Or New Year, they get invaded by aliens, so they wouldn't shut down these organisations unless they're in a parallel universe where they haven't really been invaded by aliens. Torchwood seemed like a pointless organisation, so did Unit, so the government shut them down, and that's why they weren't prepared when the Kasavan came to Earth in Spyfall Part 1 and 2. Could even, really slim chance, but could even be Pete's world, as nicknamed in Doomsday and Army of Ghosts. If it is the parallel world where the Doctor left Rose Tyler on Bad Wolf Bay, it makes sense because the Cybermen, they're the parallel world Cybermen, the Cybersmen, are the old ones who stand beside the lone Cyberman and march forward. Maybe those Cybermen started tearing even more holes when they went into more parallel universes, etc. This could, and yes, this is the most speculative thing ever, but it has been rumoured that Chibnall was in discussion with Billy Piper about joining Doctor Who crew again. Yes, this was rumoured way back in 2017, probably has absolutely zero merit at all, so don't get excited, but it could see the return of Rose Tyler if it is from Pete's World parallel universe thing. It probably isn't, so don't get excited. Also, because I don't think they want to just completely wipe out Gallifrey, it makes logistical sense if this is a parallel universe with a parallel Gallifrey that gets destroyed. It also gives the next showrunner a fresh slate because they could go to another parallel universe. It could be similar to how Rick and Morty in whatever episode it is, they wreck the universe they're from, so they travel just to another parallel universe and live their lives out there. Except Doctor Who isn't Rick and Morty, but you know, maybe it is.
It's cool, Rick. I'm Doctor Who in this I could be a clone.
But yeah, that does bring us to the end of today's theory video. If you did enjoy, and if you do have any other little bits and bobs that fit into this theory, please do comment them in the comment section down below. Now, I also want to draw your attention to the fact that we've reached 2,000 subscribers. Thank you all so much. That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Let me know what videos you'd like to see. Thank you for watching. That does truly bring us to the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye.
Don't forget to click below.
Subscribe to the confused Adipose.